In Doctrine and Covenants 88, verse 73 says, "Behold, I will hasten my work in its time." And this is Christ talking through the prophet Joseph Smith. And so God is saying, I will hasten my work in its time. And I think it's important to realize that it's God hastening the work. And so things are happening in the world. God is preparing the world for the second coming of Jesus Christ and the end of the world. He's getting it ready. And President Monson, during his administration, emphasized this verse and used it as a rationale, an impetus to do more missionary work. Because if God is hastening his work, we want to make sure that we are gathering as many people to God's kingdom as we can, right? So President Monson emphasized sharing the gospel, and people thought about it on a practical level. Sometimes people thought about it as, oh, the church wants us to just do more work, and we're supposed to hasten. Let's go faster. Let's work more. But that's not necessarily what this is saying. This verse is saying that God's going to hasten his work, that we should be ready and we should help the world be ready. And part of that is sharing the gospel. Our responsibility is to work, it's to labor, but God's the one doing the heavy lifting, and often in ways that we don't understand, and often in ways that the church isn't directly acting out. Often God's working parallel to the church or on a different issue and bringing things together, such that the church is gathering people to Christ's kingdom, but the work is a lot broader than the work of the church. It's a broader thing that God is doing. And the growth of the church isn't necessarily the same thing as the growth of the work, because God's work is just preparing the world for his second coming. It doesn't necessarily need the growth of the church. In fact, lots of the scriptures say that the church will be small at the time of his second coming. That there is a difference between the work of the church and God's broader work. And the work of the church is part of God's broader work, but God's broader work is broader. It's more than the work of the church. It's the work in individual hearts. It's the work in big macro trends and scientific discoveries. He is preparing the world, and he is hastening his work. And we can be part of that, but the church isn't all of that.